Good morning, everyone. I'm Naveen Parashar. I'm chairing this session. A brief introduction of mine. I'm a project professional, uh, certified PMP, and having an experience of almost close to 32 years in various industries, including the project setups in refinery petrochemicals and fertilizers. For last 15 plus years, I am working with India Serial Limited. So without wasting much time on myself, I'll just give the prospect of project execution strategies, because presently we are in the stage where the expectations are too much from the project execution managers, project execution teams. Projects are much more complex than ever. Challenges of stakeholders are too much, and they are much more educated and much more informed. So to keep track on all these requirements and to deliver the projects well in time, it is always important to innovate, adapt the new technologies in the area of project executions. So considering all these aspects, there are 4 presentations which is going to happen in this session. I request all the presenters to limit their presentation within 15 minutes so that we can finish it well within time and we can able to attend the closing ceremony also. So I will not take much time further, and I'll introduce our first speaker, Mr. Clint, a seasoned construction professional with over 30 years of experience in mega and giga projects. Clint is driving a transformation in Saudi Arabia construction industry through next generation advanced work packaging and lean technologies. I welcome Clint for your presentation, and best of luck.
Thank you so much. It's an honor to be in your service today at this conference. My name is Clint Dietz, and I'm the Regional Director and Country Manager for Saudi Arabia for Constructex. Today I'm going to be talking about Advanced Work Packaging, or AWP. Because the Constructex approach combines the relevant methodologies from Agile and Lean construction, we call it Next-Gen Project Delivery. And this really helps our clients to deliver world-class results. Okay. As AWP has now become a recognized industry standard, owners worldwide, including major players in the Middle East and India, are specifying AWP as a requirement in their contracts. The irrefutable facts speak for themselves. Effective implementation would result in billions of dollars of benefit in the forward expansion plans of India. Got to click. Our observations of current owner-contractor behaviors means that achieving the benefits highlighted previously in the previous slide are at risk. But why is that? For owners, there is a check-the-box mentality, applying outdated and incorrect standard vendor acquisition processes to selecting contractors. Owners' direct involvement means owning the methodology right from the prime contractor through to the subcontractors. Owners must build their know-how and capacity to provide clarity and leadership throughout the entire life cycle. For contractors, the perception is that AWP reduces their revenue, when in fact, it increases their capacity and ability to do more work. From time to time, they apply made in-house solutions, and these may or may not be following industry standard. Sometimes they have a lack of familiarity or expertise. This leads to misunderstanding of how to effectively implement AWP. Ultimately, if this thinking continues to prevail, it will really aggravate the project teams. It will not deliver the material benefits, and AWP will ultimately fizzle and die, being labeled as it doesn't work. Using either a production planning system or a lean construction approach has proven to generate benefits in non-AWP capital project implementations. Bringing these approaches into advanced work packaging is what we call next-gen project delivery. This new best practice of combining these approaches is emerging. And yes, improving your AWP implementation will yield immense benefits. You can build on those benefits by deploying the latest thinking and practices to increase project performance. Next-gen project delivery facilitates AWP adoption by its granular approach and hierarchical analysis. As an owner or an EPC, what do I need to do to be successful? Well, there are basically 4 key elements to achieving next-gen project delivery results. Number 1, we have to develop the right program. We design and implement the governance and organizational structure. We configure the systems, and we do health checks along the way. Number 2, we do project enablement by designing a fit-for-purpose implementation plan overlaid on the contracting strategy. We finalize data requirements, and we set up the technology applications. Number 3, we provide education and training. This can be done online. It's self-paced, or we can do workshop-based as needed. And lastly, where the rubber hits the road, is we implement. We execute AWP lean processes with direct hands-on coaching and mentoring. Next, I'm going to give you examples that explain the core processes in these elements and how they can help project teams achieve project objectives. This pictogram really illustrates how next-gen project delivery is supposed to operate with owners, contractors, and subcontractors, or EPCs. It shows that there are material differences in terms of the role and responsibility of key stakeholders in the project. You will specifically notice that optimization efforts are required between owners, EPCs, and contractors. Well, how do I know that I'm ready to execute? Over the last 15 years, Constructex, in conjunction with owners and EPCs, has developed proprietary analysis tools to determine and prioritize the highest value opportunities, the capability and readiness of the project team, as well as are we ready to execute. These tools provide quantified information for decision making and action taking. We have found that the most successful owners and EPC firms do these analyses early in the project lifecycle at FEL1 or FEL2. The path of construction is the installation build sequence of the project. It involves dividing the project into work areas and then subdividing those areas into work packages for construction, engineering, and procurement. We develop the path of construction using interactive planning sessions. We involve bringing together the stakeholders so that we can discuss and align on specific deliverables for the project. During these sessions, we map out the milestones. We determine the scheduling considerations and the necessary activities to achieve them. Interactive planning is performed by starting at the end and thinking or pulling backwards. Pull planning for construction schedule development has largely emanated from the lean design and construction community. This is opposed to a regular planning process, which usually starts at the beginning and pushes to the end. A path of construction is a very unique and specialized technique that's really in a class all of its own. Lean planning in the field is vital to gain crew alignment and visibility on progress in the completion of the path of construction. It's particularly important for short-term production control of the installation work packages and eventually the system work packages in preparation for commissioning and startup. If you focus on the far right-hand column, we do pull planning activities that are part of the short-range production planning process. This signals the contractor and the site yard to transport the bagged and tagged materials or equipment, whether owner or contractor supplied, the pre-assembled kit, or the modular assembly to the appropriate work front. Looking at the gray highlighted column on the left, we consciously put in a minimum inventory buffer at what we call the logistics center to absorb variability in the supply chain delivery and site execution. This also helps to accommodate temporary storage, temporary staging of the large equipment, and to enable design for manufacture and assembly, modularization, prefabrication, and pre-assembly activities, all the while supporting commissioning. There are numerous complex sources of data and systems involved in capital projects. Owners and EPCs are demanding an integrated system that gathers and collates data accurately and then provides timely, relevant decision-making information to project and business stakeholders alike. An efficient and effective system is needed to do this work. ConstructX uses work packs as the workhorse to accomplish these tasks. It is the tool of choice for owners and contractors across the globe. Work packs enables projects to manage, develop, and access content for advanced work packaging, right from front-end loading through procurement, detailed engineering, construction, and startup and handover to the client, right across the entire project lifecycle. WorkPack's functionality includes machine learning and AI to perform the following functions. As an example, it generates tags, objects, and components in the 3D model. And it generates the schedule of activities and the tasks for those items to be built. It automates the path of construction development with alignment of packages across the different phases of the project. And it performs an analysis of current and future state of project execution. So let's dive into how the ConstructX Advanced Work Packaging Toolkit, which literally places project success at your fingertips. We've recently sold 2 enterprise-level toolkits, one to an owner in the GCC and the other to a global EPC firm. This groundbreaking toolkit isn't just a collection of resources, a smattering of documents. It's a powerful system designed to transform the way capital projects are executed. It combines industry-proven methodologies, digital information, and role-specific guidance or personal playbooks to deliver unmatched efficiency, reliability, and scalability. With features like digital threads for real-time data insights, standardized guidelines for contracting and procurement, and tailored playbooks for every project role, the AWP Toolkit ensures that all tools you need for excellence are within your reach. In the next few months, we'll be bringing out the AWP Toolkit to market on an AI platform. It will enable the user to quickly identify the needed materials and describe how to apply them on a project. As mentioned at the beginning of my presentation, next-gen project delivery gets results. On Dow's project, structural steel productivity increased 92%. Piping productivity increased by 68%. And they doubled the industry standard for time on tools, actual wrench time. This project won the Dow Chairman's Award and additional other awards internationally. Next-gen project delivery is definitely a journey. If you're not currently incorporating advanced work packaging in your projects, get started. Path of construction would be a great place to start. To achieve the full benefits, execute the AWP process with discipline, with a proper site oversight plan for owners and the right education, training, and organization for both owners and contractors. Next-gen project delivery enhances AWP and increases your ability to sustain implementation right across the enterprise. Thank you.
Thank you, Clint, for this extremely informative presentation, and hope you are going to give me toolkit for a free. Yeah. It's really important to integrate technologies in our planning and execution of the projects. So it's a really insightful presentation. Thank you, Clint, for this presentation. I now like to call upon next speaker, Mr. Rupam Goswami. He is from Numaligarh Refinery. Numaligarh Refinery is presently executing one of the mega projects, and it is one of the largest investment in the Northeast. And we are going to hear from him. I think Mr. Anurag from his team is going to make a presentation. He is also working on the same projects. And this project is showcasing some of the major challenges of the particular region, especially while handling the mega equipments, ODCs, issues of handling laborers and executing contractors. Now I welcome Anurag to make a presentation.
So firstly, introducing ourselves, we are from Numaligarh Refinery Limited. Mr. Rupam Goswami, General Manager Projects, and myself, Anurag Sharma, Manager Project Planning. The topic of our presentation is Numaligarh Refinery Expansion Project, Managing Odds to Advantage. So firstly, about NRL. We are the largest oil refinery in northeast region of the country with a 3 MMTPA capacity operating plant. We are currently undergoing expansion from 3 MMTPA to 9 MMTPA. The projects that are being executed are part of the Hydrocarbon Vision 2030 and the Look East and Act East policies of the Government of India. Currently, cumulative capex to the tune of 40,000 crore is being executed at our NRL site. About our flagship Numaligarh Refinery Expansion Project, it is a 6 MMTPA refinery expansion initiative. We have a 1635 kilometer pipeline spanning from Paradip in Orissa up to Numaligarh. We have crude oil storage facilities coming up. We have expanding refinery marketing infrastructure. The project is a brownfield expansion initiative in the northeast region. All the new units coming up as part of the project will be in quartile 1 from day 1. We are introducing latest refining technologies with the resid processing and treating unit, the second such plant coming up in the India. The project offers integration opportunities for an upcoming petrochemical plant, propylene being the molecule in use. For the project, we have introduced a hybrid mode of project execution, and we have introduced multimodal transportation through sea and riverine route. We will talk about this further in the upcoming slides. We have 100+ contractors currently working at various locations of our project site, and on a daily basis, an average footfall of 15,000 workers are entering our project premises at various locations. So, firstly, something about the project management framework. It is probably one of the few disciplines where the practicals happen first and then the theory follows. Why I say this is because it is a framework dependent on outcome of real world application scenarios which are distilled over centuries and millenniums with focus on time, cost and quality. Now why do I say centuries and millennium? We have the Colosseum in Rome and the Ajanta caves in Maharashtra constructed approximately 2000 years ago. Project management as a discipline did not exist back then, but we can be very sure that the makers of these structures were astute managers to be able to build structures that have withstood the test of time. This information, this know-how has been distilled over a long period of time, and today we have the project management framework. The Delhi Metro is a classic example of how the framework can be put to use to make world-class infrastructure. At NRL, we have been benefited by the framework to a huge extent, and we dare to believe that we too will be adding a few supplementary pages to the framework with our work at NRL site. Next, we have a few critical and unique features of our project which we will present before you, and we will also offer a few takeaways and insights for the easier consumption. So, the first takeaway that we present before you is to solve the most difficult problem first. Now, every project will have some high impact events even if they are of low duration. For our project at NREP, the ODC transportation up to the project site was one such high impact event. Why so? You are aware that we are in the northeast region of the country and we are connected to the rest of the country through the Chicken Neck corridor. Large oversized equipment, since we are not a port city, have to be transported through the sea and riverine route, and in our case through foreign waters also. Along the route, we have to do dredging activities. I will briefly try to explain the route to you. So, on the left hand side of the screen, you will have the equipment being manufactured in various hubs like Gujarat and Maharashtra. They are transported through sea barges up to the ports in West Bengal. In West Bengal port, the vessels switch over from sea barges to river barges and then traverse the route along the Bangladesh inland waters up to the mighty Brahmaputra in Assam and then up to Numaligarh jetty, which is about 10 kilometers from NRL site. Now, one must appreciate that this project got started in July of 2020 when the entire planet was in lockdown. So, all the route surveys, all the tie-ups, all the memorandum of understanding, all the collaborations, both internally as well as internationally, had to be done during that period. We took benefit and help from our parent ministry, from the Ministry of Ports and Shipping, from the government of Assam, and all of these activities were first put in order, and only then we focused on other activities. Had this not been put in place, a project of national importance could have been affected. As of date, 14 out of 16 ODC consignments have been successfully transported, the maximum weight being 1200 metric ton, the maximum dia being 10.81 meters. We have an MOU with Inland Water Authority of India, who has helped us with dredging activity. A causeway has been built in the last 10 kilometer stretch, which has a riverway. to accommodate the oversized equipment. This has been done by the PWD. You have the pictures here, this being the causeway. Second takeaway and learning, hybrid contracting strategy for maximum bid participation. So we have 7 units and a large volume of concurrent work is being done at NRL site. We were initially very wary whether we will get enough bid participation. So what we decided to do was we opted for the EPC mode of execution for established process technologies like the CDO-VDO unit, whereas for novel technologies and for large sized units, we went for the EPCM mode to accommodate for any design changes and surprises. We went for the job works model for the hydrogen plant and the boot model for the crude oil import terminal. We benefited through this approach because we got maximum bid participation and hence better price discovery. We also minimized single party risk concentration by taking this approach. Third takeaway and learning, resource optimization through common pool of resources. Now each unit coming up in the project is a project by itself and will have some common requirements. Like each unit will have at least one or more ODC consignments. These have to be transported from Haldia up to the NRL site and then also erected at our NRL project site. Had this been loaded in the individual contractor's scope, the cost impact would have been high. So we decided to engage a common multimodal transportation agency and a common erection agency who did the transportation for us as per the constructability sequence, the critical path of the project, as well as of course the availability of the equipments. Fourth takeaway and learning, democratizing the engineering platform. So what we did for this project was we introduced something known as integrated electronic data and document management system. It is a cloud-based platform for engineering submission, review, approval and storage. What it does is it offers all stakeholders access through the web for the entire project cycle to submit the document, to review, to approve, and then the documents finally go to storage. Again, the entire engineering phase could be successfully completed through multiple phases of lockdown because we could leverage the engineering platform to our advantage. One key benefit here is we are able to track engineering deliverables at a very granular level and we have access to smart data and digitized files. For one example, you will see on the rightmost corner a map where a particular tagged equipment is being identified and all the documents where the tags find mention can be mapped from the purchase requisition or the RFQ document up to the final vendor document. So it helps us to retrieve data more easily. Sorry. So fourth takeaway is to maximize indigenization for cost savings. Now we are aware that vendor development is the only way to efficient price discovery. However, for some novel process technologies, we have only 1 or 2 vendors at max in the market. At NRL, we tried to pursue the open tendering route, of course, in liaising with the licensor, and we could indigenize a severe service application package and ensure that an Indian bidder finally was able to bid for the job and also secure the job, thereby helping us with more number of bidders and as such better price discovery. Indigenization also helped us with multi-party optionality and relatively quicker OEM support. Last of the takeaways, leveraging AI for enhanced safety supervision. As you are aware, safety is the cornerstone of efficient project execution. And no amount of supervision is enough when 15,000 workers are entering your project site on a day-to-day basis. So what we did at NRL is we introduced a tool which is automated to identify potential near miss and deviations. It may be related to PPE non-compliance, it may be improper barricading, height work without harness, overspeeding, etc. CCTV footages from over 50 cameras are utilized to identify such lapses and are reported to the control room of the project on an immediate basis. Remedial measures include counseling, warnings, penalty, etc. So here you will see in the photograph one worker is identified without a PPE hat. What it does is the workers also have a thinking that somebody is looking at them at all the time, and that itself switches their behavior in a positive way. With all these initiatives, the project is steadily marching towards completion, and we sincerely hope and believe that history will look back upon this project as an effort in nation building in one of the most challenging of circumstances. Thank you.
Thank you, Anurag. And we all know Numaligarh refinery is one of the most difficult sites, and executing projects there is really a challenging. And one of the most important aspect which he also highlights is regarding the ODC consignments. In one of my projects, when we are conceptualizing the project, when I presented the execution plan to my seniors, they told me that this project will not going to come up. You must have some ODC plan. You suggest client to have some investment in even construction of new roads to take the ODCs. And that project, I just want to name that project also, that the Vizag refinery modernization projects. There we have a ODC consignment of sizes around, if you see the diameters, 14-meter dia. And the weight of the equipments is around 2,300 metric tons. So the size, it's really matter how we take into account these requirements at this stage of planning and carry forward during the execution. Thank you for the insight. Now I request Mr. Chetan Patel from Indian Oil, who is working on the pipeline projects and presently executing the largest pipeline projects.
I would like to start my presentation with the thought, in the world that move fast, being updated is survival and being outdated is the dominance in the market. So this is the flow of presentation. Initially we will see what is the energy ladder and the energy consumption pattern, then the oil and gas pipeline map of the different world and where we are standing right now as a India, challenging what Indian companies are facing in laying oil and gas pipeline, history of some projects which had got delayed in the past few years, provision related to ROU acquisition issues, common carrier. The government has proposed a facility called a common carrier in around 2008-2009, which is not optimally utilized. We will take some of the data from there. And the sharing of ROU has the potential to solve the problem of ROU related for oil and gas industries. And how IHB Limited, in which presently I am working, has solved the ROU issues of ROU in Ahmedabad and the Kheda district during laying of the pipeline, and the possible solution, what are the reforms which we can recommend and which we can adopt for timely completion of the pipeline projects. So here is the basic concept which is called as energy ladder and per capita energy consumption. What is energy ladder? Energy ladder basically shows the relation between the energy use pattern with the income. It is an old bookish concept, but right now complying and with all the energy consumption pattern of the different countries. So here as in India, we are, the per capita energy consumption is approximately 7584 kilowatt, which is far below the developed countries like Canada, US, America. So India will soon become the third largest economy globally. So it's crucial for us to increase the per capita energy consumption. For that, we need to shift from the traditional fuel resources to the more renewable resources like green energy in order to achieve our net zero target by 2047, which IOCL itself has decided to come over. So this is the primary energy consumption data, primary energy consumption by source. So we can see here that for India, we mostly rely on the coal. Approximately 60% of our primary energy consumption comes from the coal and 28 to 29% comes from the oil. So we can judge how much behind we are from the developed nation. And for the world, it is 30, 30, 35, 35, 35 ratio for oil, gas and the coal. Also, in our energy mix, natural gas percentage is right now 6.7%, and we are targeting to increase it up to 50% by 2030. We are also lagging behind the world average in that. So this is the summary of oil and gas map pipelines of a different country and the pipe density. Here we can say in India, we can see in India we are having the oil pipelines of 34,000 kilometers and gas pipelines of 29,000 kilometers. It was around 14 to 15,000 kilometers in 2014, and in the last 10 years we have increased it substantially from 14,000 to 29,000. And the US right now is having the gas pipelines of 3,33 kilometers. So we can see here how far, how behind we are from the developed nation. And based upon the pipeline density, we can plot a map for pipeline density index, where we can also see that the natural gas mix in our energy mix is also lagging behind the developed nations. So what are the challenges? Means if we are exporting oil and gas in our energy need from the Gulf and other countries. We don't have any production capacity right now up to that extent. 85 to 90% of our energy mix, energy demand we are exporting from outside of the world. So what we can do? We can just we can establish our pipeline infrastructure for transportation of imported crude and natural gas to the end customers. So as per the data of the PNGRB, 52% of net energy demand is transported through the pipelines. There is a huge scope of increase in pipeline infrastructure. By rail, we are transporting 31 percentage. By coastals, we are transporting 41% or 14%. So what are the problems right now the pipeline link companies are facing? So the major problem is the ROU related acquisition issues, which accountable for almost delay for each and every pipeline project. So highly capital incentive projects, change in scope of the work during the laying of the project. Land revenue maps, we are laying the pipeline in the field of the farmers, so there is a mismatch in the land revenue map also. Delay in statutory clearance, since the pipeline is traversing from one place to another, there may be in CRZ issues, forests, and the statutory compliance will be there. And political issues, it can be handled over a period of a time. So this is the history of a pipeline which are getting delayed in India. So here we can say the initial completion is 2014 and the final completion is 2009, 2013 to 2024, 13 to 27. This is the list of pipeline projects which had got delayed because of ROE related issues. So, and what is the major issues in ROU? That is a false news reporting, farmer agitation, farmers are demanding unnecessary high compensation, and even in many cases after getting the work started, they will come and stop the work. So because of that, our ultimate pipeline completion got delayed. So what are the provisions which are related in India for laying of the pipeline? So Petroleum and Mineral Transportation Act 1962, which we called as a PMP Act. It is a centralized act which is available for laying of pipeline, and some states has also legislated their own law, and it is only available in Gujarat. That is Gujarat Water and Gas Pipeline Act. It is only for natural gas, not for the product line. So here is the flow chart, means how the land acquisition is going on. So it is a lengthy process. It will take approximately 1.5 to 2 years to complete the entire land acquisition process for ROE acquisition process for laying of pipeline. Some sort of modification need to be done at this place to sort out this problem, to synchronize this duration. And what are the different sections which mentioned in the PMP Act 1962? It is tabulated here. So at the last stage where the declaration of land compensation as per section 10(4) of PMP Act and RFCTL come, here is the stage where we are facing the most resistance, most aggression from the farmers, demanding the very low compensation. So we need to synchronize this process, as we need to shrink this process from 1.5 to 2 years to approximately 6 months. So what are the common carrier defined? Its government has proposed one facility that is called a common carrier in 2007 to 2008, in which if any company is laying pipeline from one place to another, then some capacity has to reserve for a common carrier. So here is the data of a common carrier pipeline, in which maximum of the capacity right now is unutilized, and as a result of which the common carrier laying pipeline company has giving a twofold financial losses. First, there is a huge capital expenditure during the laying of during the project completion phase, during the project execution phase, and the second is whatever capacity they had decided that are not getting optimally utilized, as a result of which increase the break-even point of the project. So the common carrier facility for the product pipeline as well as right now in the natural gas pipeline is not optimally utilized right now. So some remodification or some redefining of the assets need to be done. So right now we are implementing Kandla Gorakhpur LPG pipeline, which has the capacity to lower 0.6 mmTPA carbon emission on annual basis. So it is a 3,000 long kilometer pipeline. Whatever carbon emission we are just preventing for this pipeline by implementing this pipeline, it is equivalent to 9 mmTPA of refining capacity of any refinery, whatever they are emitting in a carbon emission. So here we can see KGPL pipeline capacity is 8.2 mmTPA, 8.25 mmTPA, out of which 2 mmTPA is a common carrier. So the total project cost is 8,500 crores. So whatever we are implementing right now, we are just expending 1,000 to 1,500 crore as a common carrier. So we can see how long means it can extend the break-even point of that project. So how to counter that problem of ROU sharing? How to counter the problem of ROU acquisition? So the technical specification of OSD norms are saying that we can lay pipeline at a distance of 3 to 5 meters from one pipeline to another, and the ROU acquired by the company initial during the laying of the pipeline, it varies from the 18 meters to the 20 meters. So there is a scope of laying of multiple pipelines in a common ROU. So these are the various benefits which is available, which we can avail while sharing of ROU. Economic benefit, it will reduce the cost of the land acquisition, lower tariff, because once the cost of capital expenditure of the project will lower, obviously the operator will offer the lower tariff to the end customers, and they increase the efficiency of the assets also. Economic benefits will be there, operational benefits will be there, strategic benefits will be there, strategic partnership between the companies, and this increase the competitiveness in the market, regulatory compliance. So here is the main picture what we did in Ahmedabad district. So here we can see that IOCL Sanand plant, which is very close to Ahmedabad, and the land rates of that particular area from in the Sanand area is very high. And whatever amount you are giving to the farmers, to the affected stakeholders, they will always find it is a low. So everyone has an expectation which we cannot meet as per the law. So the length of ROU, the pink one shows the ROU which we had shared with the IOCL, and the blue one shows what we have proposed. So that there is a net saving of 7 crores. Initial KGPL pipeline acquired ROU cost for 27 crores, and what IOCL is charging us for sharing of ROU comes for the 7 crores. So there is a net saving of 24 crores for laying this 21 kilometer pipeline. This is a very small patch of that particular 2,800 kilometer pipeline. And same to same, we have also shared the ROU with ONGC in a Kheda district, just adjacent to the Ahmedabad. So here also the land rates are very high, and the ONGC had acquired the ROU in some 1980s, 1990s and 2000. So there is a space available in there, And one more thing we did here, the excellent, that is we laid the new pipeline based upon the abundant pipe retrieval basis. They had some pipe laid in approximately 1995, and that pipe is right now dead. That is not live pipeline. So what we did, we just made contact with him, and we convinced him that we will take out that piece of pipeline for that 22 kilometers, which is free of cost for you. We will take out that pipe, and in that place we will lay our pipeline. So that is a win-win situation for all of them, because what they get the net saving of pipeline extraction cost, and in that place we got the remaining land. So there is a net saving of 17 kilometer. If we go through the ROU acquired part, then the cost of ROU is 22 kilometers. Oh, is 25 crores. And what ONGC charge for that 22 kilometers is the 8 crores. So there is a net saving of 17 crores. So what are the possible solutions which can avoid the delay in completion of a pipeline? ROU acquisition issue are not is an industry specific issue, not a company specific issue. Not even every company who are in the business of laying of pipeline is facing the ROU acquisition issues. So here a map of oil and gas pipeline of India. It is showing, it is giving us too much data. There are, we can propose some corridor in which already existing ROU are there, and we can lay the multiple pipeline in that phase. So it is a proposal, government can form a common corridor, dedicated pipeline corridor in the same line with what NH and DFCCL right now is doing. Government can also form some SPV and in high demand zone, and declare that particular ROU as a common corridor for laying of multiple pipelines. And this one is very interesting. Some reforms is required in the GST norms for laying of pipeline. Before GST Act, plant and machinery comes in the GST. After the implementation of a GST Act, there is a definition called plant and machinery, which exclude the pipeline laying outside for their ITC, input tax credit. Mainline pipe and the pipeline laying cost itself account for the 50 to 60% of the net pipeline laying cost. So here is the small brief. ISB Limited, the net project cost is 8,500 crores, and the mainline laying and the pipeline cost in this 8,500 crores comes to 5,100 crores. And what we are just paying, we had already paid the GST of 9,900 crores, and we are not getting any input tax credit for this 900 crores. So one reform is required in this particular case, by which we can avail the input tax credit on whatever we are paid. So these are the three
Chetan,
policy
you have to
reforms
finish.
which we are suggesting right now in order to curtail the hurdles of our pipeline industry. First, there is a GST reforms. Second, the common carrier facility restructuring, and the third is ROU acquisition issues. A dedicated pipeline corridor can be proposed, which can sort out the problem of ROU. Thank you.
Thank you, Chetan, for giving the insights on the issues related to the pipeline projects. Definitely, ROU is one of the issues, but of late in India, for last many years, there is a big importance given to the pipeline project, and government is also looking after the giving various policy incentives and also supporting the companies for ROUs. And in the coming years also, the LPG demands and LNG demands is going to increase in India for taking care of the requirement of the energy mix. Now I request Mr. Vineet Gava for his presentation. He is a digital transformation expert in salt systems. Vineet is specialized in project execution, cost management, and EPC project digitalization. His presentation will explore how advanced work packaging and digital solutions can address the construction productivity challenges.
Good morning. Yeah. So I'm Vineet Gaba from Dassault System India. Today I will present about how do we boost the construction productivity by using AWP, Advanced Work Packages. My fellow speaker has already spoken about it, but I will try to be very crisp and within the timeline of the session. So what we are trying to do actually, everybody is aware here that capital projects are complex. They are complex because we deal with multiple functions: engineering, procurement, construction, budgets, materials, resources, and we feel a lot of problems at the site, like there is a shortage of labor, there are issues, there are risks actually going on in the projects. While we work with these silos functions, engineering, procurement and construction, many a times we come up with the schedule conflicts. We will have conflicts because we are not integrated as of now. There are different reports available. Each function, each department prepares the information to present to management, which may clash sometime. And many a times we wait for the information from fellow colleagues, which means that we are spending more time on the non-value added activities. And CII reference, if I take, they say that 30% of the time the project teams are spending in collating the information, asking for the right information at right time. What it means actually, it brings down the productivity of the employees within the headquarters as well as at the site. It increases the errors, it increases the cost also. So this is just one brief about to understand what is the problem statement we are trying to solve today. And what is the objective? Everybody will agree that what we want to do is we want to do the right project at the right time, right? And doing the right project also. So with this problem and understanding, once again, my name is Vineet. I am IPC solution architect. I am sort of a functional consultant as well as a technical architect also, working with the Dassault system. I will skip this slide. Now I come to the point, and I wish that while you are available in the session hall, I wish and I hope that the session will help you to actually take away the new inputs, topics which you will reassess within your organization and start to adopt the things. Though this information is applicable for the I&M construction industry, but it can be widely accepted in any of the construction areas. So with the problem understanding, now we speak about the how do we deliver the profitable capital projects. If you look at the three layer architecture here, what is the outcome of a project? We want to do the projects within cost, within budget, within schedule, with safety, and so that we can start to operate. What is the success indicator here? Is that the quality across all value chains and functions, be it E, P, C, or the field operations. And what will actually enable this is that the critical conditions of the project, that is the alignment between all stakeholders, having the strong project management skills, and having the right constructability strategy. So one of the posts I was reading few months ago from CII was that optimum use of construction knowledge in planning, in design, in supply chain, and the field operation will help you to do the right projects at right time. So once again, I repeat, the feedback from construction to all the value streams is very important actually. So now we actually head towards some of the questions. I will, in the interest of time, I'll keep the slide open. Do you start the CR early in definition? It depends on time. How many times you do your construction reviews? It's a frequency, right? So I'll jump to the next point where this information is available. So we deal with timing, we deal with frequency, we deal with the quality, and we align with all stakeholders, which is very important. And the focus area is that today, time and the quality. If we handle these two, then we are in the right direction to achieve the project success. And once again, important point is that to do the projects right in time with the quality, so that the operations and the revenue can start to get with our organization. Because capital projects are very costly. You know, there are a lot of investments from 1,000 crores to the lakhs of the crores. Now, solution, my fellow colleague has already spoken about it, that advanced work packaging. I'll just give a introduction about it, is that, as the name says, advance. So we have to plan early about all of these. Now, what is that stage? What is that early time we actually do the work packaging? Time says that, and the experience says that, and the people, I have been interacting with multiple customers, and everybody says that it's too difficult to adopt AWP in the initial stage. While feed, the front-end engineering design, is not the right time, but at least we start to take the AWP during the detail engineering of the phase. When you start to get into the details, you prepare 3D models, you create the detailed plan of the schedule, from planning to the, from engineering to the commissioning activities. Now, what is important is that the information, what I have to do at site, okay? Which tools and the materials are required, and what are the prerequisite tasks which are supposed to be completed. As soon as we get that go, then we are good to start the work at site. Now, in a simple term, what is advanced work packaging? Is that we keep the end in the focus. Now, what is important in EPC owner operator from a point of view, or any stakeholders or a contractor point of view, is that construction is the main point where we have to give the output to the business stakeholders and any organization stakeholders. So what you do is that you take feedback from construction, you pass that feedback backward to the supply chain, to the engineering area. Now, AWP is a project delivery system that emphasizes construction as a primary planning driver. So which means that construction will drive everything. We have to have the path for construction ready while we speak about the AWP, that is advanced work package. So work package concept is not something new, you know. If you speak about one of the first constructions we had in our earth was the pyramids, right? There was also work package concept was used. Now, what is this AWP? Is a structured approach to manage the constraint at the work phase. Because you are planning the EWP, that is engineering work packages, construction work packages, to achieve the IWP, that is installation work packages. Now, we do this planning early to support the execution on time by using the required and available resources at site. It's a holistic approach to run the entire project life cycle, which means that you are giving additional time to the supervisors to work on the value-added activities. Now, look at the bottom slide here at the last, is about information to capture, what all tools and materials are required, and whether the dependent task is completed or not. Once we get a green signal from here, we start the work and we execute the task using the installation work packages. So just a brief of the slide, what I spoke about, that during the front-end planning and during the detail engineering, you define the CWP and EWP, which becomes a easy path for IWP, that is work phase planning, installation work packages. Yeah. So we can divide the construction projects in three phases, in three stages rather, I would say. Stage 1, stage 2, and stage 3. While stage 3 is pure construction, where you execute the activities, that is through IWP. And stage 2 is the detail engineering phase, where you have the detailed design, detailed plan available, and the information, very matured information of CWP and EWP available. And during the stage 1, you start to define the boundaries of CWP and EWP. Now, one of the slides I was seeing from my fellow colleague was that to whom it is applicable to, whether it is applicable for owners, operators, contractors, subcontractors, or whom. I would say it is applicable across the value chain. So rather it will not depend if you are doing the EPC through a single EPC contractor, or you do engineering separately, procurement construction separately, or you have a different contractor for each phase. It is applicable to all the stakeholders, but important point is that you have to define the right interface and the right boundaries actually. So with this, there are many benefits. I will not speak about this slide. It is a reference coming from CII. You please refer to the CII handbooks that are available, which actually speaks about what are the benefits of AWP and work phase planning is available. You improve the quality. Of course, the productivity is important. You spend the right time on the right activities at the right time, all of this. Now, one more reference coming from CIA was that without AWP, you were actually spending 3.7 hours out of 10 hours of duty on you are using the construction resources and the tools. But with advanced work packages, the reference coming from CII says that you are spending now 4.6 hours per 10 hours of the job. Okay, which means that we are spending more times on the tools, we do the things faster and improve the productivity. Now, what is next step? So in the interest of time, I will just speak about this. AWP is still at the initial stage. It is not matured yet as per CII. Now, next steps are, we have to focus on automation. We have to learn from other industries which are far matured today. There are best practices. If I take example of aerospace or automotive industries, there are hundreds of best practices available. Each and every tool is capable of doing everything, and they are just on the operations now. We have to capitalize those successful implementations, and we have to learn from the best talents from the IT sector. One of the IT sectors, we are at IEW 2025 at Hall 1, IJ 1J11. You can visit us, and then we can discuss more about these topics and the other tools. We are also available on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and others. You may please visit us there. Now, in the interest of time, I have a short video about telling. Sorry. Yeah. Oh. So it will place it automatically. Can you please help to play? Yeah. Thank you very much. Yeah, it's a short video showing that how material inventory pickup from the site can be executed using Dassault system Delmia Aprizo tool. We'll take 1 more minute. So you have a mobile application. You accept the PO. You scan the QR coming from the material, and the inventory is actually placed. You're using the container. Now, as soon as the material has come, you do the quality inspection in the system, which is also integrated with SAP or any ERP what you use in your organizations. Entire warehouse management is also read from SAP, and it is available for the site engineers, and everything what I said is available on the mobile application also. So all the SOPs are also available using the drawing, 2D drawing, 3D drawing. The engineer at the shop floor is reading the information and updating the actual quantities, what the work has been done in the system. And post the work has been done, the quality inspection is tightly integrated in the system, and as soon as the inspection is approved, we have to update the progress on the task. There are KPIs available which can be wrote that which tool and the resources are optimized and all. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Vinit. And one important aspect you have highlighted about the involvement of construction at the planning stage. In fact, the company I represent, Engineers India Limited, we provide the solution from concept to commissioning. And in all our feasibilities and pre-feasibilities, inputs of construction are taken at that stage itself, so that we can see whether what we are planning we are able to execute at site or not. So that is an important aspect which you have highlighted. And other aspect is advanced work packaging. Definitely it's going to be a good tool for the project managers, and we are hoping that we will see across the projects in the coming years. With you and Clint both highlighted these important aspects. So I am concluding this session by saying that we have a team who represented the innovation in technology. We have presentations on the live projects experience of the mega projects in Imaligarh and also the pipeline. So important aspect is that planning tools and integrated packaging for giving the documentations. So these are important aspects which we should include in our project execution for timely delivery. Thank you everyone.